He was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me.
He wrote me this: please pray for me. I'm under the gun on something right now. Prayers appreciated. I texted him and I said, I hope you've increased your security detail. He texted me back. He said, quote, I have. I know they want me dead.
Erika?
I don't know who he meant by they. Maybe just radicals on the left. But that didn't stop him from exposing himself to danger. No, look, Charlie didn't really like the word safe. He knew that ministry required you to take risks.
So we drove in, and as we were driving in, Charlie got
Erika
some
Kirk
video
is
footage
hilarious
from drones above. This is an hour before it was supposed to start, and there were thousands of people there. And I'm looking at the video footage, and I go, Charlie, I don't like this place. There's too many buildings. But Charlie, knowing that the people wanted to interact, and being brave that as he was, he just kind of shrugged it off.
He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good.
So I wanted to play this just to get this out the way. Erika Kirk sat on national TV lying again about her own husband.
He was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me.
He wrote.
So I just wanted to start off and get that out the way, because that's just a quick thing to once again to show Erika Kirk is a liar. So now we can go to something else, which is part 2 of Turning Point USA employees exposing all of these idiots at Turning Point USA. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Let's get it.
You were recruited at a very young age. How did they take you guys to bars in Scottsdale? Because I remember in your video you said that you guys took a bus that had like stripper poles on it. Right. And then they took you out and got you drunk.
Y'all hear that right? Y'all hear that right? What's up, Shay?
And so you were recruited at a very young age. How did they take you guys to bars in Scottsdale? Because I remember in your video you said that you guys took a bus that had like stripper poles on it. Right. And then they took you out and got you drunk.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
What years did you work for Turning Point?
I worked for Turning Point from 2023 to 2024.
So how old were you when you first started working for Turning Point? Because I know Turning Point likes to hire people like right after high school, correct?
Yeah. Right. Charlie even wrote that book. It's like,
why?
I was 17 and a half when I went to training. So,
wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. But you were graduated, right?
Yeah, I was graduated.
Okay, so before we get into that, so you left Arizona. What are you currently doing for work now?
And for those of you who seen part 1, we're going to skip to like the 20-minute mark. I just want to catch everybody up on what's going on. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all were here for part 1. This is part 2. Put a 1 in the chat. Y'all was here for part 1. We're going to skim through it a little faster this time to get through the whole thing.
And say, hey, there's an open position at Turning Point. Like, I'm leaving the position. They said to come get you to apply for it. So, like, go send in your application.
So right here, he literally says he was just going to church, minding his own business, and a Turning Point USA executive came in looking for young boys to recruit.
Underage new hires out in Scottsdale on party buses and got them intoxicated.
Correct.
Wow. That doesn't really align with their values, does it?
Not at all. It made no sense to me from the start, and I was completely taken aback from it.
And so how did you get the opportunity to work at Turning Point?
Here
And
we go.
like, did you apply? Did someone recruit you?
Yeah, I
There you
was
go.
recruited through Turning Point Faith. Yeah, I was recruited through Turning Point Faith. I worked under Boomer Bennett. He was the manager for Turning Point Faith in the West
But where did they find him at?
for them. So I worked as a church coordinator at my local church, Destiny Christian Church.
He was a church coordinator at his own church, Destiny Church. Y'all see that, right?
That's located here in Rockland, and I worked under.
Where's Rockland, y'all? We got to find out where this place is at. Where is Rockland? Can anybody tell me where Rockland is? Rockland or whatever? What is that? I think that's somewhere on the West Coast, but can y'all explain to me where Rockland is?
Them for about a year, and that's when I was kind of poached by Turning Point's main branch. They had a representative come in to the church and talk to me and say, hey, there's an open position at Turning Point. Like, I'm leaving the position. They said to come get you to apply for it. So, like, go send in your application. And yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so you were recruited at a very young age. How did they take you guys to bars in Scottsdale? Because I remember in your video you said that you guys took a bus that had like stripper poles on it.
Right.
And then
So y'all are saying near Sacramento, California. Rockland is by Sacramento. Okay. So listen to the stripper poles and everything. And we're gonna skim through this and go to the second part.
how did they take you guys to bars in Scottsdale? Because I remember in your video you said that you guys took a bus that had like stripper poles on it.
Right.
And then they took you out and got you drunk.
Also, I just wanted to mention on that point, I have been in like a public transit, like a private bus that was rented before, and it happens to have a stripper pole in it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. But like maybe it was the only van that they had. So when you first said that at the very first part of your video, that was the first video I ever saw from you. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I've been there. Too.
Right. Like a lot of party buses have stripper poles in it. But
And I just want to say this. You have to look for a party bus that has a stripper pole in it, because most Sprinter vans, Sprinter buses, Dodge vans, Chevy vans, they don't have stripper poles in it. So you have to specifically find or ask for a party bus. So this church-oriented company called Turning Point Faith or Turning Point USA specifically look for a bus with a stripper pole in it to not only recruit young people, we'll say tadpoles, but to transport the tadpoles to bars to get them drunk. Not my words, their words.
like to have like a Christian conservative company.
Though. That's where I was
take
like
underage kids that are 17
and that's what I also
out in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
How did they get you to bars in Scottsdale if you were under 21?
Yeah, so the first bar that they took us to, which was with all the administrators, so I'm talking all the higher ups besides Charlie, obviously.
And this is showing that it's all the administrators. So this is not a one-off. This is not a situation where one guy was doing something wrong and he got a bunch of tadpoles and took them to the bar. They all took all of the tadpoles to the bar because this is their allegedly their way of recruiting the tadpoles. So this is not a one-off. This is how they operate, according to what I'm hearing.
He was not a part of this, but speaking of like the college, the person who ran the college department, the person who ran the high school department were there, and they took us to a bar called Buffalo Chip in there.
So Buffalo Ship or Buffalo Chip? Does anybody know about that bar? Because I may, because I got some people out there, so it'll be a fun trip if I was to fly out there and do some podcasting and go out there and interview this person or somebody that works at this Buffalo Chip bar in Rock something or whatever it is. So let me know if y'all know anything about that and send me a DM on Instagram right here and let me know if y'all have any information, because I would love to just go out there and just take some notes and talk to some people and see what they have to say, because this young man is on an NDA. The people at the bar, they're not on an NDA, so they can tell me whatever it is that they want to tell me without suffering any repercussions. What's up, Lynette? Lynette, I ain't seen you in a minute. Where you been at?
Arizona.
Oh,
that's an 18 and up bar.
Okay.
Which is already kind of weird as it is. You know, it's a kind of unmoralistic for Christians to go to bars as it is. So it was kind of weird. And then the second day that we went out was with the senior representatives.
So they went out a second day
of Turning Point, and those people got us into the bars. The bouncers did not ID anyone because they knew these people that were taking us in and just trusted them, I guess.
See, that's right. That right there. I would love to talk to the bouncers. I would love to talk to the people and just see, what is your memory of this? Do you usually do this? You know what I'm saying? Just to get an understanding, not to get nobody in trouble, but just, you know, just have a conversation with them. Because the first thing I would like to know is, did Turning Point USA, one, pay them to let tadpoles into their bar? And two, how often do they invite tadpoles out to drink and get drunk and all this other stuff? I would love to ask those two questions, but y'all got to let me know, where is this bar and what you know about this bar?
And these people went and bought us drinks at the bar and said, hey, drinks on us, like get as many as you want. And
Drinks
would just
on us,
keep buying
crazy.
rounds. It was really weird.
And they were totally aware that you were under the age of 21.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So are any of
Bruh.
these people, I know you can't name them, I know you have that NDA that
Yeah. Josh has an NDA that lasts until 2035.
It's insane.
2 questions. One, did they make you sign that NDA like when you left or right when you got hired? Like,
It was day one. As soon as you walked into the training room, that was one of the first things they had you do.
Okay.
very interesting.
And-
Second question, hold on. So all those people that you're not allowed to name, how do I word this? Are they in the news right now? Are any of them in the news and being talked about?
Well, I know something.
No,
Okay.
Okay.
not a lot of them.
No, okay. Yeah, I didn't figure because I didn't think someone like Brian Harple, head of security, is going to be taking out the 17-year-olds at the strip club.
Right.
But
But someone that is in charge of hiring that
Tyler
is very known is
Boyer.
Tyler Boyer.
Tyler Boyer.
Correct.
Correct.
All right, so we about
He
to
says correct.
He's one
And
of them,
Tyler
yeah.
Boyer's
get
also
to the
big in
next
the news
part
right
in a
now. So I
minute.
feel like if I ask, like, are any of these people
Okay, so now y'all have the gist of this, because I just wanted to catch up the new people who just are coming in here and they didn't watch part 1. This is part 2. If you want to hear the I would say a good 15-20 minutes of this, watch part 1. I'm going to skip to the middle, and because it actually gets worse. So part 1 is part of this, but part 2, it gets really, really bad.
If you will. And I will say that anyone that has worked for Turning Point is very aware that there was an inner circle there. And if you are not a part of that, you are not going to last. You are not going to enjoy your life there, and they're going to make you miserable. And that's exactly what they did to me. They made me as miserable as they possibly could until I eventually just gave up on the job.
And what does that
How?
inner circle mean? And like, what were they doing or conspiring that you didn't want to be a part of?
Yeah.
All right, hold on 1 second, y'all. Let's get these likes up. So I'm going to play the like button because the likes are down. So take a second, have fun dancing in your chair, and let's hit the like button song and hit the like button.
Everybody, everybody hit the like button. 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 If you got something to say, drop it in the comments. Don't be acting afraid. What? Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. If you got something to say, drop it in the comment. Don't be acting afraid. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city. What? Drop your city in the chat. What? Drop your city. What? Drop your city in the chat. Drop your city in the chat.
All right, so let's get to part 2 of the
There's
conversation.
just kind of corruption, if you will, of the upper levels, differences in views from Charlie and opinions and stuff, and very secretive type of things. Like they wanted to have secret meetings with each other. And
All right, this is where we
I
stop
would have
off
a few
at.
drinks myself. I will.
Those bar events, invited to these secret groups?
Didn't think of it as a good thing. I thought it was
All right, so this is where we ended, and this is where we're going to start off at right here.
really weird and peculiar that would be going on, and let alone no one questioned it.
So were you invited to these secret groups?
Yes.
And you were told certain things about them, but you were kind of just like not interested. So why don't you go more into what you talked about in one of your videos that was removed, where you were approached at one of those bar events by people at Turning Point, and I'll let you describe for yourself what you said about them, what country they affiliated with, and what they said to you. If you want to talk about that.
Is it IHOP?
Yeah. So we
IHOP?
went out to the bar. That was the night we went out to the bar with our senior representatives, and they were having us all drink. I had had a few drinks myself. I will say that.
Now, he had a few drinks himself, and remember, he was a tadpole, and he had no business in that bar around them grown-ass people. So let's see what happens.
And they pulled me outside for a minute to smoke a cigarette with them and talk to them. I declined a cigarette because I'm obviously only 17 and a half. But they started talking to me a little bit, and they're like, so we just overheard you talking about Israel earlier, and we just wanted to know a little bit more. Like, how do you feel about Israel? And I said, I feel neutral. Like, I think they're okay. At the time, I hadn't done too much research into what was going on or whatnot, so I didn't care. And they said, okay, well, we're part of a pro-Israel group within Turning Point, and we kind of promote for Israel within Turning Point, if you will. And they were like, would you be interested in stuff like that? And I was like, not really, no. I'm just here for the college department. I work with colleges because I thought it was some different group that they were with. And they said, oh, we're part of some Israeli coalition group that Turning Point hires to come here and work for them. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, that's weird. And I kind of.
All right, y'all see that? Do y'all see that? Turning Point USA has this IHOPian group of people that are out at a bar with tadpoles trying to recruit the tadpoles into something different than just Turning Point USA. And that's kind of like what I was talking about in part one. There are certain rooms you can get in, and certain rooms other tadpoles can't get in. It depends on what you are cool with, what you down for. So if he would have said, I'm interested, and then they would have invited him to another room. This is what I was saying in part one about the different rooms that they invite you in. These IHOPians have literally taken over Turning Point USA, and they are out at the bars with these little kids. This shit is crazy.
Me a little bit, and they're like, so we just overheard you talking about Israel earlier, and we just wanted to know a little bit more. Like, how do you feel about Israel? And I said, I feel neutral. Like, I think they're okay. At the time, I hadn't done too much research into what was going on or whatnot, so I didn't care. And they said, okay, well, we're part of a pro-Israel group within Turning Point, and we kind of promote for Israel within Turning Point.
So let me give y'all something to, and I'm going to speak in code here, so I can't say certain things, right? In IHOP, all right, over there in the country that starts with an I, they worship something called a Talmud. And in their belief system, in their Bible, their belief system makes it okay for them to fish for tadpoles legally. It's almost a need, is almost a role, is almost a mode of operation to tadpole fish. If y'all understand what I'm saying, put a 1 in the chat if y'all understand what I'm saying. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So y'all give me yes. So it's in their Bible to actually do stuff with tadpoles. So they don't see it as wrong. So just imagine this company, Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith, the freaking church people are looking for young girls and young boys, putting them on a party bus, literally taking them out. And then, remember, they said it. He had a few drinks. So they don't talk to him before they go in the bar. They talk to him when? After they don't had a few drinks. And then after they had a few drinks, They asked the tadpoles to come over here or come outside or come in the VIP and then start having conversations with them while they're drunk. And this is them saying it. Why are they doing this? Because if you're inebriated, you down to do anything. You like, woo, let's do it. Let's go. And next thing you know, I don't know, because I don't know. I don't want to get sued, but maybe there's a second party bus. An IHOPian party bus that goes to a shipping container, possibly. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know, because they didn't mess with this guy because he wasn't with it. Just imagine how, I wish they would have asked how many tadpoles were there, because it's always a percentage of everything, everybody, everything, right? There's a percentage of birds that can't fly. There's always a percentage. So out of 10 tadpoles, maybe 2 was like, oh yeah, I love IHOP. And next thing you know, oh, okay, well, you can come with us. And then that person may never be heard from again. I don't know. I have no idea. But I can imagine they over in another country selling ass at a brothel or some shit for the next 20 years of their lives. And this is the reason why I talk about this and go deeper and deeper and deeper in this. I said the same thing with Diddy. Diddy has something to do with tadpole traffic lights. And I want to keep reiterating that because I don't want any of people in my audience thinking like, yo, you milking this. Yo, you've been talking about Charlie Kirk. I ain't said a word about Charlie Kirk. This is about TPUSA. See, Charlie Kirk is dead. Turning Point USA is alive. I'm here to talk about what's alive, not what's dead. Because we can't do nothing about Charlie Kirk. We can get justice for Charlie Kirk, but I want to get these Turning Point USA people in prison if they did something. But it sounds like, according to what they're saying, they did do something, or they are doing something. So hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button. Let's keep going.
If you will. And they were like, would you be interested in stuff like that? And I was like, not really, no. I'm just here for the college department. I work with colleges because I thought it was some different group that they were with. And they said, oh, we're part of some Israeli coalition group that Turning Point hires to come here and work for them. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, that's weird. And I kind of shrugged it off and walked away. But looking back now, I can see that was very weird and very odd of them to be talking about with me.
And did they like tell you what their motive was of why they were involved with Turning Point and why they were coming out with brand new recruits and getting them drunk and asking them about this?
They didn't lead me into anything like that personally. But they just said that they were there to promote Israel essentially, and just for the pro-Israel cause within Turning Point was their mission.
But what did that have to do with tadpoles? Like, what exactly is their mission? Their mission is that, but what is the point of them being at a bar around drunk people? And why did they wait for the people, the tadpoles, to have 2 or 3 drinks before they talk to them? Like, I just want y'all to think about how crazy this is. What company on the planet takes employees out to a bar and then they get drunk and they're inebriated and then they start having conversations with the drunk employees or the drunk potential employees? So now I'm not saying that companies don't have Christmas parties, y'all. This is recruitment. This is not a Christmas party. A Christmas party is when all of the employees already know what their roles are, already know what their jobs are, have been working there for 6 months to a year or 5 or 10 years, and they all come together and have a Christmas party and have drinks. I'm not saying that. This right here is recruitment. They don't know all these people. They pick this boy up from a damn church, and then next thing you know, invite him on a damn party bus, and then all of a sudden, he done had 2 drinks in him, and random ass people from IHOP call him outside and try to recruit him to some other shit. That's totally different than a normal Christmas party at a company, y'all. They ain't even working there yet. This is recruitment. But why are you trying to recruit drunk people?
Okay. And so after this night out with these, what would you call them? Did you think that they worked for the Mossad, like the Israeli CIA?
Yeah, I mean, at the time I did, and I can't clarify if they did because I don't have their credentials. I don't know if they really
Well,
did.
they said they did.
But I believe that they did, yes.
Well, they didn't say, hi, I'm from Israel
Right.
and I work for the Mossad. Is
Right,
that
yeah.
what they said? Or you could just kind of
Like,
get
you
that?
could just pick it up based on the way they were talking about it. Like, we're part of an Israeli group.
And can y'all say IHOP and not the company? I mean, the country that starts with an I. If y'all want to say the country that starts with an I, can you please say IHOP or IHOPians? Either IHOP or IHOPians. Please don't say the country. I don't want YouTube to demonetize my video.
Like, just kind of implying, if you will.
Do you know if they were Americans or if they were like born and raised in Israel?
Good question.
I do know that one of them has dual citizenship with the U.S. and Israel. That's a fact. I know that. The other one, I am not 100% certain on.
And do you know if Charlie was aware that these people had ties to the Israeli government?
I don't think he did, no.
Okay.
Why is it that you think that he didn't know? I'm very
question.
pro Charlie, and I 100% am with
I
you.
was
but
thinking the same
at the
thing.
time, was there anything that set you off like, oh, I don't think Charlie's aware about any of this stuff? And why, in that case, I'm not like, look, you're being so brave now. Kudos to you. You are doing clearly what no one else is able to do, even though they want to do it, other than Amanda and like a small handful of others who I guess distorted their voices. Not sure if that's, I didn't actually see that. But in that case, why didn't you go forward and say, hey, Charlie? I'm sure he's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah,
but
he is very difficult to get a hold of. And he's rarely even at the Arizona facilities when he was alive. He was rarely there.
Because he's traveling the country all the time.
Right. He had his Live Free or Die tour going on at the time, too, that he was promoting for at the time. So that was just taking off, and he was doing a bunch of promotion for that. So he was never really around in general. And then us field representatives didn't get much of a chance to talk, communication-wise one-on-one with him unless we were doing events. So it was just like you never really got the time to talk to him about stuff like that. And then the people that you were able to bring it up to, they were just going to bury it. And that was the problem.
so like your supervisors or whoever your leader was, like it didn't matter if you brought it up to them, really.
Right.
Because you said you had.
Yeah, I was about to say what we're about to say. Yeah, and
And if anybody wants to watch this whole video, without my face in it or whatever, and just watch the video itself, the video link is in my description, and y'all can just watch the whole thing. It's like 2 hours, and like I kind of like comprised it together and just tried to put the best pieces in it. But you can watch the whole video on their channel, and their channel is Brandy and Billy Show. The Brandy and Billy Show.
your video, you said like you brought it up to multiple people, but nothing was done about it.
Right.
Wow.
Is that why you ended up eventually leaving 100%? Like that's fully the reason?
That's more of the reason, yes. And then also they just, like I said, they made me miserable. They would make me do a bunch of exterior stuff, like I was saying, traveling to 3 different colleges in one day across 2 states. And they're expecting me to do all this stuff. And it's insane. I think the last straw that I had with them with that was I went down to Sacramento State. They sent me up to Chico State after that, then to University of Reno. And then they called me at 8 p.m. at University of Reno and said that I had to go down to Vegas for an event.
Damn.
Next morning.
And this is you by yourself. You're just driving around doing this on your own.
Right.
So do you think they were trying to put you in a stressful situation so you would quit, so they didn't have to fire you since you weren't on their team?
Absolutely. I think so, because Vegas was out of my territory as it was already. I only covered northern Nevada at the time, and they told me that I had to be down in Vegas by 5 a.m. the next morning, and that I had no choice or else I was going to be fired. So
How is any of this legal?
I couldn't tell you.
One thing on that note is I've seen a few people in the chat here. Do you have access to the chat? Are you able to see it from
Let me see.
you are?
I don't think so.
You don't? Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah, I
there's
do.
a couple questions here. One was from quite a while earlier. People were commenting about how if you are a minor and then you sign an NDA, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but does it not? I'm sure you've looked into this since it's your NDA and you're like, oh crap, you know?
Yeah.
Like, is it still legal since he was
Yeah.
a minor?
And have you talked
Yes.
to a lawyer?
As long as you're 16 years old, you can sign an NDA.
And just for the record, they made him sign an NDA that stays, well, he has to stay quiet until 2035. What kind of mess is that?
And then again, an NDA does not matter based on age. Even if I did have parent consent under 18 for some NDAs, my parents would have signed it too. So it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, so you've told us some interesting stories. You've also made a video about the financial situation going on at Turning Point. I am not familiar with filing taxes.
And just remember that he was 16 and 17 years old, man. That's crazy, man.
With big corporations or anything like that, but you did talk about it. Can you give us like a rundown?
I seen the photo of Erika. Thank you, Carolyn. I just seen it. Thank you so much.
Of what you kind of discovered of the corruption going on with the financial situation with Turning Point?
Absolutely. So the IRS, it was stressed from day one of training. The IRS was going to be all over us all the time. And if we missed a single payment down to a penny, they would sue the crap out of us or come after us as hard as they can. So it was just burned into our heads from the start.
If they missed a payment, if the tadpoles missed a payment to who? Did they have to pay a membership or something? What does he mean? If they missed a payment, they would sue them. Maybe he'll somebody say rewind it. All right, I'll rewind it a little bit. I don't understand.
So the IRS, it was stressed from day one of training. The IRS was going to be all over us all the time. And if we missed a single payment down to a penny, they would sue the crap out of us.
Why were they paying Turning Point USA? What?
Or come after us as hard as they can. So it was just burned into our heads from the start that we need to be very careful about money. And the thing that drew me to find out about this scheme of money going on was Turning Point USA is a 501c3 organization, which is a nonprofit, non-political, so they can't affiliate with anything.
Okay.
You follow the money from that charity, however, and that flows down to Turning Point Action, Turning Point Faith, and then Turning Point Endowment, which I didn't know about. And apparently Charlie didn't know about either.
Turning Point didn't know. I mean, Charlie didn't know about that. You already know we knew about that because I did a video on that.
And Endowment is a stock market branch where they pour millions of dollars into the stock market yearly. And then.
Oh, shit. I remember somebody saying about that. Oh, this is getting deep.
Get return on investments from that. And then the peculiar thing about that I found was they had an employee fund for that lists 0 known employees. There's no employees on payroll.
Yeah, as you mentioned.
But there was $5 million going to somebody. And that money was tracked back to a Safeway strip mall, I think. And don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Strippers and alcohol.
Yeah.
Stripper poles.
Well, there was a video that Candace, on her video, she released a tip from someone that apparently was a close family friend of Andrew Kolvet's. And they said when Charlie died, Andrew was acting weird. And he said to them just in a conversation, when Charlie Kirk said no,
to be
to money from
Netanyahu's-
Benjamin Netanyahu. Andrew said when Charlie said no, I personally lost millions of dollars.
I think one.
Yeah.
Do you think that that statement is accurate, and why?
I absolutely do. And I believe so because there was a lot of people like him around Charlie that felt the same exact way. And when he turned down that money, they all lost out on that. And I think the reason was because Israel was pumping a lot of money into those people to try to flip him into turning into a pro-Israel cause.
Yep.
So I personally didn't know any of these names before the past 2 months. I didn't know who Andrew Colvett was. I didn't know who Tyler Boyer, all these people, Brian Harpole, who's my number one right now, my number one suspicion. Actually, I hate Rob McCoy. I mean, I don't hate him. I can't hate him. You don't know him, but not a fan. Did you already know all these names before? Did you know all these people?
Yes.
They're popular in Turning Point, right? They're the big guys. And
Very.
even though you didn't necessarily work with them or in their department per se, you definitely knew who they were.
Yes. They were very well known within the company.
Did you have feelings?
And we did this in the last video. What would you call Turning Point USA? We've gotten Turning Over USA, Turning Up USA, Put a Tip in USA, Diddy Party USA. What would you call this type of Turning Point USA? Give them a new name. I said turn them over USA. Put them on a stomach USA. Put them on a stomach USA.
On them before?
Yes. I never really felt very positively towards any of the administrators
PDF File USA
at Turning Point, besides Charlie himself, really, because he
And that shows on your Instagram that you felt very positive towards Charlie. Even
Absolutely.
you can see stuff that you posted from before he passed away.
Yeah.
And after.
And I've met Charlie before, and like I was just like, what an amazing human, and like just had so much respect for him and his company. And I just think if he knew the way
Time to run USA.
it's how it's become, he'd be disgusted by it. And if he knew
Gotta catch them all USA.
what was going on behind the scenes, like he would just be so disappointed and upset. But like people are like, oh, don't you think Charlie would know the characters of people around him? But then again, like, I mean, look at Jesus. Jesus had people that stabbed him in the back. Julius Caesar had people that stabbed him in the back. Like, do you think that Charlie had no idea that these people had any nefarious motives? And if you do agree with that, like, do you think maybe some of those people are the people currently running the Charlie Kirk show?
Yes, I do. And that is sad for me to say, but I was going to reference Julius Caesar, actually, because I felt Charlie's in the same position as Caesar. I think that somebody close to him was very involved in what happened to him.
So right there, Candace said it. He's saying it. The people like that were able to see the inner workings of Turning Point USA all say that the people closer to Charlie Kirk are the ones who got him up out of here. And they, turned on him.
I'm not going to speak any further towards that, but people can make their own impressions.
Tips and Pimps USA.
And I also believe that people need to understand Charlie Kirk was a very busy man, and he ran so many different organizations at the same time, had to run events for all those and be the face of all of them at the same exact time. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult enough to run one nonprofit as it is that is very famous, but running 3 different ones at the same time, you're all over the place. You can't expect him to be able to know everything about what's going on back home.
Right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Based on what you said and also from the chat here, did you ever happen to meet Erika?
Yes.
Yeah. And so she wasn't even really employed by Turning Point.
He simply says Erika is nice.
Things that I've seen, like, girl.
Right.
I will say that
investigated, and I thought it was very interesting. I think it was yesterday. She just said to stop.
Right.
In the
Tots and Pots USA.
It was very intense. She literally was like, stop.
Right.
And it's like, I'm sorry. I don't think anyone is believing that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk alone. I think
Exactly.
everyone in the world that has half a brain knows that that's not what actually happened. And if I were Charlie's real friends, if I was Charlie's family, wife, I would say, let's investigate every single thing that we can.
And speaking of that, do y'all know that Charlie's family hasn't said anything? Like, his own family isn't saying anything about all this. I wonder why.
Because I would want to know what actually happened. And I would be concerned for my own life, for my family's life, for my friend's life.
Absolutely.
And so for people to say to stop asking questions and to believe what the mainstream media and what the government is saying is insane to me.
I absolutely agree.
And so it just like, we're all human here. It's like you're looking at the way his friends and family are reacting and you go, were these really Charlie's friends or were they using him? Were they planted here for a reason? And I'm not saying we don't know. I'm saying my opinion looking out, like if you were to die, if one of my sisters or someone in my family or my fiance, which I don't have, but like husband in the future, whatever, I'd be like, no, we're going to look at every single thing and we're going to figure out what happened. And the way that they're reacting is just not normal to me.
Right.
And it makes them look suspicious because of the way that they're reacting.
Absolutely. And that was what I was going to get to too, adding to what you had to say about that. It makes me very angry to see the videos of, I will say this person's name, Mikey who was
McCoy.
best friends with Charlie Kirk. The moment that Charlie gets shot, he didn't even react, didn't go over to Charlie, instead he just jumped on his phone and walked away.
Literally on the phone immediately.
Before Charlie.
I was livid when I saw that.
Did you know him?
I did. I've met him a couple of times as well.
Did you notice that Rob McCoy started getting more involved towards the end of Charlie's life?
Yep.
Same with Mikey, I think, too, right?
And you notice that both of them, specifically Rob, too, have been coming out against Christians and using the faith against Christians for questioning what happened to Charlie.
Yeah, I think in one of his sermons, he literally said, if you're an anti-Semite, he said like in a sermon, like, you don't belong here.
Yep. Shout out to Charlie's Angels. Can we get your impression of Erika's stop face? No, because I don't know how to make that face. She has the like weirdest. She looks like a snake person. Her eyes are all weird. She be like, she looks weird as hell.
An anti-Semite to him is anyone that's even questioning anyone Jewish that's involved like in this, which is like, okay.
Anyway, we could talk about like Rob McCoy and like all these other things I could talk about.
I said, okay.
But you haven't noticed anything weird going on in your life in the past week, right? Like,
not in particular. I did receive a few no-caller IDs, and I have. I will say that one of these representatives that I did reference, that was a part of one of these groups, leaked my phone number out to several people who have messaged me.
Would this be someone in security that would have your phone number?
What's that?
Would this be someone in security that would have your phone number?
No, this was the representative because I asked the person who got my number who gave it to them, and they disclosed exactly the person.
Does his name start with a T?
It starts with a J.
Are you able to?
Justin Strife.
Do you know a J?
I have an idea.
Justin Strife.
Justin Strife.
Oh my God. No fucking way, dude. No fucking way. Oh my God.
All right.
Anyway,
so I just want to say one thing about him. So apparently the day Charlie was shot, Justin Strife, I'll say his name. I'm not on an NDA.
He didn't agree, by the way.
He did not agree.
Yes.
I'm just saying he called a $1 billion donor who is now, I'm assuming since Charlie's no longer with us, is now working with Turning Point. So
that money declined, right? And
so just for the record, what they're saying is Charlie Kirk started turning down all of these IHOPian donors, turning them down. and there was a $1 billion donor that actually wanted to make Turning Point USA like huge. But guess what? Charlie Kirk was like, no, I don't want it. Next thing you know, Charlie Kirk died. And then now the Turning Point USA is now working with the donor because Charlie Kirk is out of the way. So that is easy understanding of 1 + 2 = 3. Charlie Kirk said no. This $1 billion donor wanted to give them some money. They got rid of Charlie Kirk, and now the $1 billion donor is now working with Turning Point USA. That's just common sense.
To my knowledge, he declined it.
Dude, this Justin Strife is
He
the one
did.
that brought him to like this
Josh
to the
just said,
bars
yeah.
and got him.
And it was just
I don't know if
Strife.
Justin Strife is the one that
No,
brought
I'm
him
just
to the bars,
conversating with
but
Brandy. Sorry, sorry, Josh, you're not in this conversation.
but that's interesting. All right.
Holy shit! Sorry, someone said blonde language.
This is a kid's
I
show. Like
got
Baron likes to
excited.
say, this is a kid's
Damn.
show.
This is a
No
kid's
cursing
show,
here.
sorry.
But Megyn Kelly curses on her show too.
A week.
A week. So was it ever even implemented?
Nope. And it was buried right after his death.
Was coming in and where it was going, correct?
Absolutely correct.
The Doge.
So
The Doge.
he decided to do this Doge department how many days before he passed away?
A week.
A week. So was it ever even implemented?
Nope. And it was buried right after his death. And then Turning Point missed their first IRS audit in history.
Yep. And we are familiar with that because what's the guy's YouTube channel? Wolf of...
I know who you're talking about. That is the right guy.
Yeah.
Who knows
And
what he's
so
talking
can you
about.
explain a little bit more about that? Because like I said, I'm not familiar with how taxes work with big corporations. And I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this aren't familiar. And if you're not that familiar, that's fine too. But just you can explain anything that you know, like kind of regarding that.
Well, from my understanding, companies, specifically charities, 501c3s, which Turning Point was, it can't be partisan and it can't be for profit.
Right.
And so that means everything that they bought, every flyer, every desk, every event that they put on, everything had to be written out on paper to the exact T of what it costed, and then base that on donations and return that to the IRS and show them how much money you have left at the end of the year so that they know that you're not just pooling this money on the side. That's from my understanding of what it is. And Turning Point failed to turn over this year and given that information of where.
Until the Wolf of Wall Street or whatever his name is, I forgot his name, exposed them, and then they magically came up with the paperwork.
That money was going.
Okay. And from my understanding, some of this money was getting, I'm going to use the word laundered, allegedly, to employees that didn't even exist.
Correct.
Yep.
To a department that didn't exist because they were wanting to IPA, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, insane. I feel like we should talk more about the stuff that you were actually involved with.
Shady, you are absolutely justified in demanding answers. The other thing I mentioned in my last video was the missing $8.6 million that was transferred.
$8.6 million, y'all.
From Turning Point USA to America's Turning Point. Now we have the finances so we can see how that money was spent. Just to recap, there are 4 shell companies. Turning Point USA is the main one. Then we have Turning Point Action, America's Turning Point, and Turning Point Endowment. Just as a reminder, Tyler Boyer is the only paid executive listed for America's Turning Point.
Watch this.
Is not even listed. So it seems strange to me.
Charlie Kirk is not even listed. And look what happens. Tyler Boyer himself transfers or pays himself $8.6 million. So that is what they are talking about right here.
I do have a few more questions. I thought of one and I freaking forgot it. Do you have
Well, we have some questions for you regarding Charlie Kirk's case, how the investigation is going. But before we get into that, is there anything else you want to say about your experience with the Israeli people that were speaking to you? This was a few years ago, obviously. So like, what do you think their main motive was just to make sure Turning Point was always on the pro-Israeli cause?
Correct. I think that was their goal entirely, was just to keep Turning Point going in the direction of keeping it pro-Israel.
Okay, so that was everything from them. I did part 1, and then this is part 2. So let me show y'all something that some of y'all may have seen, some of y'all may not have seen. This is another ex-employee right here.
Let me tell you a story about when I was 17 at CPAC. When I was 17 at CPAC. When I was 17 at CPAC.
All right, so y'all watch this.
Let me tell you a story about when I was 17 at CPAC. When I was 17 at CPAC. When I was 17 at CPAC. So when I was 17, I had like never drank before. I wasn't a cool kid. I didn't go to parties. I was kind of awkward. And so I go to CPAC and I'm a high schooler. Turning Point brings all these like high school and college students.
What?
All these like high school and college students.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
He said, Blake is my secret weapon. He's the smartest man I know. And he loved you. And for anybody to suggest, whether it's Candace Owens or any other person within TPUSA was somehow complicit in his murder, is to say that Charlie Kirk was such a bad judge of character that he put a bunch of traitors around him.
Duh. So that is all I got. I'm gonna go live again, probably, sometime this weekend or whatever, put all of this in perspective. But I just wanted to come back and do part 2 because I didn't have time to do part 1. And yeah, this is all in a nutshell. Make sure to go watch part 1 if you did not watch part 1, because part 1 was like super informative. But at the end of the day, this is what Turning Point USA has been doing, according to other people, not me. I don't want to get sued. I'm not just making any type of, I'm not saying somebody did this. I'm just showing y'all information that has come to me. And at the end of the day, all of this is really bad. And there's no way in hell that I would ever trust Turning Point USA in any type of way, because everything that I've heard about Turning Point USA has been disgusting, including Erika Kirk.
Messaging people the day murdered, they're coming after me.
All right, listen to this broad sit here and just lie, tell a bold-faced lie. And this is the reason why I call them a band of idiots, because one person would say something, and here comes an idiot after that will say something totally different that will prove that they're lying. Because Frank Turek already said that they were trying to kill Charlie Kirk. And then, of course, Candace said they're trying to kill Charlie Kirk. And then Andrew Kovitz said they were trying to kill Charlie Kirk. So for this idiot to come up here and say this, they're just a band of idiots, including the CEO. They're all idiots.
He was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me.
He wrote me this: please pray for me. I'm under the gun on something right now. Prayers appreciated. I texted him and I said, I hope you've increased your security detail. He texted me back. He said, quote, I have. I know they want me dead.
Same damn idiots just telling on each other because they all talk too damn much. If everybody was to shut up and stop talking about this case, we actually wouldn't have anything to talk about. But these stupid idiots, one person say this, and then here comes another idiot saying the opposite. They proving each other as liars. It's freaking crazy. But I am out of here. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this short live stream. I just wanted to give y'all part 2, and make sure to get your Deeper Discussions card game if you have not. And I am out of here.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, looking for the clues. like button if you part of the crew. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, looking for the clues. Hit the like button if you part of the crew. Yeah, black or white, red or blue. We all stuck together like gorilla super glue. Yo, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, looking for the clues. Hit the like button if you part of the crew. Hit the like button, and tell me where you from. Hit the like button, and tell me where you from. Hit the like button, and tell me where you from. Hit the like button, hit the like button, and tell me where you from. Hit the like button, and tell me where you from. Hit the like button, and tell me where you from. Hit the like button if you part of the crew. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, looking for the clues. Hit the like button if you part of the crew. Yo, black or white, red or blue. Yo, we all stuck together like gorilla super glue. Oh.